It's fine. It'll work.
Okay. You know it's gonna pick up that over everything else, right?
Well, if I play it really loudly, yeah. Anyway. Attempt number 2 at podcasting. What did we say the name is?
Stop.Go.Bark.
Okay, so Stop.Go.Bark. And we had tried this last night and failed.
It wasn't a complete failure. Just the camera wasn't working correctly, the mic wasn't balanced correctly, and we couldn't figure out how to export as MP3.
Yeah.
The lighting was terrible.
Yeah. Well, I said that you need at least 2 lights.
Well, we had
one.
Good exposures, just washed out really badly. It's okay, we have the backup camera. It's over there.
Yeah, I see it. With its one blinking light. So what we tried to talk about before was podcasting.
Yeah, because this is now the second podcast we've attempted to create. And we started to want to have this, come to fruition because, Brenton, you wanted to do a podcast forever. We just never have.
Yeah. And I thought it would be fun. It's an interesting way to discuss things, and I think you kind of learn from doing it. Hey, Cal Poly motto, learn by doing, right?
Yeah. So, apparently, instead of doing podcasting, we have a current event that just started happening. In Colorado Springs, there's an active shooter.
Wow.
4 officers and 5 civilians injured so far.
I remember the last time there was a shooting there. Kara moved there.
What's going on in Colorado that everyone says weed and guns?
What?
What's going on in Colorado that everyone is walking around with weed and guns? How many shootings, how many mass shootings in the United States have taken place in Colorado?
Well, this is...
What is Colorado doing to their people?
This is only the second one I've heard of. Because there was I remember the shooting...
The movie theater.
Yeah, at the movie theater, which was the area that Kara was moving to, and she got there the day after it.
That was Aurora.
Hmm?
I believe so.
Oh, the area.
The area.
Yeah. And then... So you decided to look up news for the podcast,
it just came up on Reddit.
Wow.
It said, hey, this is going on right now. The same thing happened with the Paris, incident. I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for Reddit. I go to work the next day. No one knows it really happened. A lot of people don't watch the news. They rely on things like Twitter and Reddit.
Well,
so this could be the first time some people hear about it. Bringing the news to the forefront of humanity.
Unless they're all Reddit watchers. Then.
Yeah, unless they're already on Reddit or Twitter or watch the news.
Well, I don't think too many watch the news, and they might get distracted by ads.
Yeah, definitely.
Or
I know I do.
Slideshows.
Like, does she know she's an ad?
She doesn't. I can't tell. So
that was the news.
Well, that's uplifting. Great start.
Hey, you have to call current events what they are.
Yeah.
It'll be great fodder for future episodes because there'll be so much backlash like there is every time. Guns are evil. People are evil. Don't glorify shooters. Cops are bad.
I think it was on Ernest Saves Christmas. They had the guy that could smush his face when he looked at the camera. And there's just some like, oh no, it was UHF.
With Weird Al.
Yeah, UHF, and there's just like some throwaway part where it goes, guns don't kill people, I do, and he does the whole squinting at the camera with the squished up face.
Yeah, it's about the same amount of logic that a lot of people apply. But podcasts.
Yeah.
Verbal media as opposed to Reddit.
Yeah.
Disposable media like pictures and throwaway, articles that have absolutely no basis to them.
Well, you were saying the first time we tried to record this that you put more value to what somebody is saying with the whole audio and visual media of podcasting as opposed to the written media because you're not checking for grammatical errors.
Or video logging or, even YouTube videos in general. We get a lot in society where you give allowances to someone because they're speaking that you don't give if they're writing, which is really sad. Like I used to write articles, that were published online. I had, blogs. I still write far too many comments on various things. And
Reddit.
Nobody cares what your view actually is if you make mistakes in either the grammar or the diction of it. The entire thing falls apart when they see one out of place comma. Your entire point is wrong just because you didn't know how to use the Oxford comma, or you misspelled a word and therefore your entire opinion is wrong. And you want to it's just so wrong to me that that's become such a normal thing on the internet. But when you have someone speaking, you forgive them for all of that.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. Your reporters come out onto the street, interview totally random people that might have 3 brain cells between them. Well, I done seen the shooter come out, and all I done is I hit the ground. And you're like, well, that's really atrocious English, but no one is going to comment on that. Everyone's going to be talking about, wow, it's sad that we live in a society where this man has to live in fear. If you did that same thing and posted it to like a post on Reddit or, anywhere really.
Just transcribed it word for word.
I all just had to jump to the ground, type. It would be torn apart. Everyone would be like, what, are you 2? I can't even read this.
There's a cat.
There's a cat.
Fidget.
Excuse me. Hi.
She needs to be the center of attention.
She's been bad.
Yeah.
Bad cats.
That'll be another topic. Bad cats.
Bad cats and bad dogs.
Hey, we didn't introduce ourselves this time.
Oh, yeah. I suppose that'd be a good idea.
Yeah. So, before we go any further, which we're actually going to be going into a break in 5 minutes, I'm Benru. He's Rambling Mutt. And he won't introduce himself.
No, I think we established on the first time around that I'm actually Fungus.
Yeah. Just sits there.
We'll tag something at the beginning. We'll record something at the end and tag it at the beginning. Introduction.
If that's what you want to do.
It'd be easier.
If you say so.
I don't know.
But the whole going off of, you can have grammatical errors. You can also, before I said that, you could talk in circles, like in person, and you can get away with it for a little while, as opposed to if you wrote it out in the opening of a paper, any teacher is going to look at it and just, instant D.
Yeah, I mean, I know the politicians especially capitalize on that. And making non-points, there's an entertainment value in listening to someone speak that you can't convey through words. I mean, unless you're Douglas Adams.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's almost an easier medium to discuss things over. Like NPR syndrome, I guess. When somebody's listening to NPR or a TED Talk, it's like, oh, that's a higher level of media than reading Cracked, even if they convey exactly the same message.
I think it's kind of funny because, originally how knowledge was passed down was the orators.
Right.
Because, in
ancient... Well, how far back do you want to go?
Well, like, ancient Greece is where it was really considered. That was how you transferred knowledge from one person to another. And then later, when writing came along, it was...
Right, writing will destroy the modern family because it'll force people to sit in opposite corners reading instead of interacting with each other.
Yeah, and it was kind of a discredited media, and you almost have it coming full circle now as far as...
Well, I mean, and especially with the internet, you can talk or listen to people around the world, and it puts into perspective some of the things they're doing. Like, if you can hear the person and see their surroundings, it might, weigh in a much different opinion of what they have to say. If we were sitting here with in a mud hut, and a single can of Coca-Cola was the only thing in the entire area, then you would definitely have a different opinion of our opinions than, say, surrounded by guitars and Godzilla.
I don't know what people are going to think of our surroundings. Well, they have guitars, so I guess they play music. And we're coming up to 2 minutes left in the first half.
It's only a loose estimate of what's going on to make sure we don't accidentally...
Well, it distracts me because, like, every time you click on it, I gotta look down to see how much time there is.
I know, I need to figure out how to make it work better, but I'm sure not smart enough for that.
I'm sure there's something you could have on the computer and just...
I can hide it from you.
Yeah. Because then I'll be mid-thought and
I'll put it over here.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's gone.
I still see it.
Doesn't matter. In case you're wondering why we're timing the 15 minutes, it's because the camera I'm recording this with only records in 20-minute bursts. And the first time we did that, about the 10-minute mark, the camera shut off because that was the end of its 20-minute recording after testing and messing with the lights. And I didn't realize it till, a good 10 minutes after. So we had a
12-minute gap.
Yeah, we had a 12-minute gap
of just black, but we still had audio, and we were totally off in what we thought we had recorded.
And then it wasn't good video, and there were audio syncing problems and balance issues like none other. I don't know. It was bad news. We'll call that one a test.
So if you want to do a podcast, just expect failure when you first start.
I mean, that's really true for anything. And we might be able to come back to that after the break.
Never give up. Never surrender. So part two?
Part two.
Alright, we're back. This is part two of our discussion about podcasts.
Did we leave off on failures and how
Failures.
never give up.
Never give up. Never surrender.
But that's a lot of people talk about being afraid of failure as the reason they don't start something. And
That's true.
I mean, on one hand, failing sucks. Like when you screw something up, it sucks. I mean, and I don't think anyone's gonna argue with that.
Well, it was like with diving. You know, I did diving in college for a little while, and if you messed up, you hit the water, and it hurt. I've had the wind knocked out of me. I've bruised up my side, but you know, I kept at it and had a few really good dives, and it was exhilarating. So to me, it was worth that failure.
Yeah. I mean, and even in a broader sense, just letting fear of failure stop you from doing something is, I mean, it's almost a form of failure in and of itself. You're like,
failure
I am afraid of talking to that girl because I might fail. It's like, well, now you've just failed. Yeah, it's a guaranteed failure if you're letting the fear of failure stop you or something. So I guess on the one hand, at least your fear isn't unfounded.
Yeah.
But
I guess it would be totally debunking if you don't try, you don't fail. Because then you just say, well, you've already failed.
I mean, if you attempt something and fail, then you've at least gained all the experience of the attempt.
The whole Thomas Edison thing.
I thought that Thomas Edison was a bad word.
It is a bad word, but you know, everybody uses the whole. Well, I know a bunch of ways to not make a light bulb.
Yeah, which he didn't even know how to make a light bulb.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
but he was a successful businessman.
Yeah, very much so. I think if you look at a lot of people who are successful, they probably failed a lot.
Well, yeah. Classic example in sports was Michael Jordan. He wasn't a success right away. It's like, was it his high school basketball team or something he tried out for and didn't make the cut? And so then after that, he decided, well, I'm going to practice day and night and make sure I make it next time. And he goes on to be one of the best basketball players that's ever been. So
yeah, so we'll call the first recording practice.
Practice.
It was a practice.
It was
podcast.
A practice.
Because every single one is a practice.
Yeah.
There's no performances until we do it live. That's like, live studio audience.
That's like being a lawyer, a doctor, or an architect. It's like you don't run a business, you run a practice.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to get a laugh track.
No.
So you can simulate an audience.
No laugh tracks.
Yeah.
No laugh tracks.
Like Ice Bear.
Play Ice Bear. Ice Bear finds this funny. Is that what you want?
I don't want anything. There's the ideas and things that I'm going to convey and understand have not yet developed. The podcast will mature into something beautiful.
See, that's what it is. We're failing right now so that we don't fail later.
No, I think we'll always be failing. Because every time you reach a new milestone, it'll have been failure.
Yeah, no, it's not success. It's failing with style.
Yeah.
So.
Looks for having a style. Maybe something to work on.
You need to dress nicer and not have dog hair on your shirt.
There's dog hair on everything. It's an inevitability.
I don't have dog hair on me.
Yeah, you do.
Where?
I don't know. I'm sure you do though.
No,
you were out there.
So I'm very good at keeping it off of me. You just
That just means you don't love the dogs. Yeah.
It's not true.
Even the cat is covered in dog hair.
Just dirty things are attracted to you. But,
Is that how we ended up with the cat?
yeah, she's a dirty little cat. She was dirty when we found her. Well, you found her.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You called out for her in the middle of the night.
I called out for her. I heard.
You heard
this little pathetic meow.
Meow, meow.
And so I snapped my fingers 3 times and summoned her.
And you meowed back. Never meow back.
She followed us 2 miles. Every time we'd pass something, I thought, oh, for sure she's going to run off now. She just never did. Put up wanted posters, put up pet ID scan, nothing.
Oh, yeah.
And we found out that she was probably abandoned because she's loud and obnoxious.
And eats everything. Because it was like the first night she was in our apartment, she ate a loaf of bread.
She likes bread and crackers and noodles.
And broccoli and onions and
There she is.
everything.
She likes to eat things that make her throw up and then eat them again and dig through the trash.
And camera wires.
Oh, yeah. So the reason we're recording this on the SLR and not the high-def webcam is...
The little thing right here, the little fuzzball.
Yeah, she ate the wiring harness.
And if you hear that right now, that's her licking my hand. Because she has to lick everything.
Is it picking that up?
Yes.
You're a weird cat. What?
She's a terrible little cat. We named her Fidget, which was probably a bad idea.
What were we going to name her? Miley Cyrus?
Oh yeah, Miley. There was one that was terrible that nobody liked because they thought it was a horrible name for a cat. I can't remember. Spaz.
Spaz.
Yeah.
I still call her a little Spaz.
Well, that's because she is a little spaz. See, this is how you make a podcast. You just do stupid stuff while
Have a cat.
while you have things recording. You do that stupid stuff. Yeah, have a cat.
Otherwise, the internet will love you.
Cats
Actually,
are-
it's all about dogs right now.
Well, we can't have the dogs in the house.
No, they will destroy far too much.
There probably would be dog hair on me at that point.
Is she clicking things? Make sure she doesn't stop the recording.
No, she didn't.
She's trying to.
She's making all kinds of gross noises that are picking up on the mic.
Alright. Time for you to go.
But making a podcast is all about trial and error.
Well, anything is about trial and error. I mean, I guess unless you're parachuting for the first time.
Suicide.
Suicide? No, people fail at suicide all the time.
That's true, but you know, at least you know when you have success. And this is a terrible subject.
Yeah, it is.
Bringing up bad memories.
Isn't that like everything?
Everything in my life brings up a bad memory.
Oh, look, a crisp leaf blowing on the autumn wind. Oh, that reminds me of the day my dog drowned.
It was in the autumn that one of my dogs drowned. Thanks.
See?
Thanks.
It doesn't matter what it is.
It was. I think it was around October.
Don't let life get you down, man.
I'm still here. I'm still trying to do things. No, it really is. Everything. It's like I can relate it back to a bad memory. And not my fault. Have you really met anybody like me that has just one bad thing after another?
There was that YouTuber, the Draw My Life.
Which one? There's two of them that were...
Markiplier.
Yeah, Markiplier. I can relate to him.
And that's probably the reason I have trouble sleeping at night is because my father beat me.
Oh, that's the one that my brother really likes. Shane Dawson.
Yeah. When you do your own Draw My Life, it'll just be about the same. Worse.
Well, what was it last night? I was talking about bad things because somebody mentioned that they got beat by their father.
Yeah. Anyway.
I know. I'm sorry, I can casually talk about this stuff because these things have happened to me.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about, when brought that up?
Yeah. Oh, but just in general, like, it seems like we talked about a lot more.
Oh, when we were talking about the podcast?
I guess.
Well, we just talked more about how the whole audio-visual component of podcasting is more taken more seriously despite having more mistakes.
Well, this is a mistake, so.
Yeah, and that's how we got here. It's like failures. And then we got to Terrible Lives because everything reminds me of Terrible Life. And Fidget was a mistake.
It's just not a mistake. She's just stupid.
If we get any like comments or anything back, people will just say, "Oh, you guys are terrible people," or at least they'll say I'm a terrible person because, you know.
No, we're terrible people.
But that is true.
Anyway, I think that should be about it.
Yeah, I think so. We ran out of steam. I got a cold that I'm getting over. That won't go away.
That's only gonna get. As if to emphasize the point.
Huh?
As if to emphasize the point.
Oh, yeah.
It's alright.
Cough, die.
The whole thing will only get better, right?
Well, knowing my luck, my cold will develop into something worse.
No, the podcast is only going to get better. Even if you develop leukemia and die, I'll replace you with someone. It'll be fine.
Oh, then it'll be better.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Get rid of me and then replace me with
and we'll end on Fidget versus Godzilla.
Yeah. She doesn't like this.
She was just chewing on it.
See?
Anyway.
Oh no, there goes Tokyo. Alright, bye. That was Stop.Go.Bark. We'll see you next time.
Well, we won't see anyone.
They can pretend.